Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so this is going to be a today's topic reading. It is intended for the 17th of November. And as always, you guys can enter to win a free read with me by writing the word compassion in the comment section. I choose at least one subscriber each week to get a free read with me, okay? So let's jump on in. This is going to be pretty abstract. I'm doing a whole series of abstract reads. People may like them, may not. Hey, I just like to mix it up. So let's see where this goes. We start with the Lovers. And in this Lovers card, we have, this is a very divine connection to start with. They are, here they're made out of like sculptures or carvings made out of wood. Yet if you look behind them, they are carved into the mountain. This is a situation where these two are at a distance in the physical plane. But as far as like the, I don't want to say, it's like their souls are interwoven anyway. So, I mean, right out of the gate, I'm sorry, but that's the only interpretation I'm giving on this because it's all I see here. Two people that are not speaking, two people that are acting as if, oh, I don't have those feelings for this other individual. And yet they are in their mind, they are like tearing each other to pieces, romantically speaking. Yet they're playing it very cool in their daily lives. Both of them, this could be two people that know each other, or this could be two people that simply are, I feel like they're both a little subdued in the day-to-day. They operate according to society. They come across, like you go to work in the right outfit and there's not like any wild streak that either shows on the surface. Maybe each of them is kind of, they seem very rooted, don't they? They seem like there's a huge blockage to them coming together. Again, maybe it's that neither one of them goes out and dates enough so they haven't encountered each other. Yet underneath this kind of like stern exterior, they're both incredibly passionate people. They both dream of some wild, flaming, passionate embrace. It's very beautiful. It's very like, because it's part of the mountains. It's like, it's a very soulful connection, but it's also very passionate. And it's as if who they are in this lifetime is a pale imitation of who they are in their dream state, or who they are like in their past lives. And it's as if both of them have some memory that there is a romance of a lifetime that they are hungry for, but they're not showing it on the surface. Now, this could also be two people that continue to think about each other, but they have this gigantic distance, and neither one, they're acting like, I don't see you, I don't think about you anymore. And they both, if you could get inside each other's minds, they're both thinking the same thing, which is, I just want my arms around you, So there's a passionate embrace that's carved into those mountains. This is not how they're behaving in their daily lives, is not how they are behaving on the inside. And Four of Pentacles, it's because it's way too much logic. They are letting their heads get in the way of emotions. And the way I look at this, and I'm only reading this deck in the upright, by the way, because this is a very different style of read that I'm doing because of the decks that I'm using and my interpretation. What I see all around is everything looks like pieces of the human body. So this looks like intestines to me, and this looks like vasculature. A lot of those look like the aorta coming out of a heart here. So someone is not listening to their gut nor their heart. Why? Because even though this kind of looks like it's an imagery of a person, we don't really have a head, right? We have this like almost like a helmet that with these recessed, arched doorways. It's like all we have is the reason both people are holding back from each other is because we're not listening to the heart or the gut. We are letting the mind dominate. And the mind, especially here, it's not even a human mind, right? It's just a helmet with these recessed doors. To me, that looks like we have echoes of past lives that go through our head, but we're trying so hard to make sense of it that we just won't roll with the fact that there is something profound and something that I am starving for with this person, but I'm going to hold back because that doesn't make sense. Why would I feel that way about this person? That logically, that doesn't make any sense. Do I still have these impressions that this is important to me? Yes, but I don't understand why. So I'm going to keep separating. Also, you see how this is like these thoughts even get separated. Somebody is working, both of them are working so hard to separate themselves from their emotions, and then they go a step further and they separate their thoughts apart to where they can't even put it all back together into one piece of, an understanding. This person is, or both people, I think, are being overly logical. They are tearing something apart instead of building it up, and that is what's keeping these two apart. And I'm going to go ahead and put blame on everybody just because that's the way I feel, because both of them are rooted here. He's made of stone, she's made of wood. Neither one, although he's carved out of the stone and she's, still like a living tree, but they've got to get past this. This big blockage is, I'm not going to listen to my head I'm not going to listen to my heart or my instinct. I'm going to only listen to my mind, but my mind is confusing. So let me separate those thoughts from each other so that I'm even further away from being able to open up and make a decision. I am making this harder and harder to accept that there is someone out there that is amazing for me. We got Justice. And like I said, I'm only reading these in the upright because of the interpretation here. Because to me, all of this comes with the potential for a solution. The potential here is we could be together. The potential here is we've got the intestines and the heart represented, but the mind is taking over, but we could change that. So the potential is here no matter what. This Justice, boy, this is like somebody, the balancing act here is we see trees, we see nature, but on this half, we just see man-made buildings. So it should be the balance and the harmony between, nature and how mankind fits into it. But it can also represent, these are the obstacles, fall in line, go the direction that I said. And what we see is people are first drawn towards something by nature. So the attraction perhaps is here between two people, but then they go into this rigid, like the man-made construct, which is our brains taking over, saying, nope, I don't understand why I'm drawn to this person. I'm going to turn my back and I'm going to still march away from it because it doesn't make sense why I feel this overwhelming urge. Now, in this card, it does look like, and this is a thought that goes on and on and on and on and on for somebody, because every single one of those is the same person. Those represent someone's thoughts for me. Someone is drawn to this feminine and then they turn away from her and walk away. Someone is intuitively, instinctually, every part of them wants to be near her, and they get that close to maybe talking to her, maybe saying what they need to say, and instead they turn around and they go the direction that their logical brain takes over. And it's funny because every thought that they have, though, as they come toward her, even though they turn away from her, their thoughts are filled with her because they all have like plant life growing up out of their head. So here they have none of that growth. They come near her, they turn away from her, but they've still been influenced. So now they walk away and their thoughts are filled with her no matter what. And she's kind of standing here dominating their thoughts anyway. This is like within someone's mind. So this is talking about an injustice. The injustice that's happening here is that someone is denying themselves what they really want. And they're denying it in such a way that it's like their thoughts go through the exact same pattern every time and every time, instead of just choosing her. They choose to walk away, but be perpetually influenced by her. So it's just a complete imbalance here. And it's all because somebody wants to use a logical, rational mind instead of accepting what every fiber of their soul or their being is telling them to do. So we've got Gemini and we've got Libra out so far, right? Goodness gracious. Okay. Knight of Pentacles and Six of Cups. So Knight of Pentacles here it's slow progress. It's somebody who's riding like half of a praying mantis, half horse, half cricket creature. So even with that, it's like the vehicle that they are choosing to ride on is kind of this weird mishmash of things, you know? It's like, does it hop or does it gallop or does it move really slow like the praying mantis? And I feel like someone is, they're a little bit, so the Knight of Pentacles is usually slow and steady, but I actually feel like this is very confused. I feel like there's the mode of approach is all over the place, which could be much more confusing. I don't know. It's like normally this person has just one thought on their mind and they are continuously headed toward that destination. But I feel like the mode that they are using to get to that destination, I feel like their subconscious is still guiding them. But I feel like they probably have weird, like speed up, slow down, go sideways, go, you know, like nothing is really making sense other than the general direction that they are still heading. Because at the end of the day, this is the knight that is on one particular quest. And they do carry this torch that lights the way no matter what. So I feel like they're going to end up reaching the place that they want to reach, but they're not even looking in the direction that they need to be going. Again, I just feel like somebody is, I don't understand all the sabotage here. I don't understand this. Why? I mean, somebody is fighting this tooth and nail, but perhaps both people are. So the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is, I mean, it is all about soulmates coming together. It's about memories that guide us forward. Now you can see how incredibly abstract the imagery is, right? We see a piano that's tilted and it's not raining music, it's raining like liquid over what appears to first be a rock, but it's not. It's a buzzard going in for like a dive here. It's and it's funny because that buzzard is like, I look at it as like a vulture that's coming in, but the vulture is coming in to sip from like an Ace of Cups here. There's this element of things that could be really beautiful and really organized aren't. Someone's mindset is it's all over the place. It's a vulture who keeps buzzing around because they want something, but it's almost like they're letting things die before they go ahead and come in. So there's unnecessary strife in this is what I feel like. I don't think that this makes any sense. I don't feel like this is one of those stories where it's like, oh, they just have these lessons that they have to learn. I feel like this is somebody who is making things hard for not a really very clear reason. It's really because of all these jumbled thoughts. It's really, if I'm to boil it down, it's because somebody absolutely rejects the idea that some things are really profound connections and really meaningful. Somebody doesn't want to believe in maybe a higher power, or maybe they don't want to believe in the idea of soulmates, or maybe they don't want to believe in trust in nature, trust in their instincts. Maybe they made mistakes in the past when they thought they were trusting in their instincts. And so now they just can't, or their logical mind just won't accept that. Why is that? It seems as if that's one of the biggest things. So instead they're letting something just die and dissolve, maybe for a test, because then if they let things die and they don't take action and they push it away, And then slowly, maybe they work their way back to it, and then they discover that it still exists, that romance is still there, then they'll trust it. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's like you're going to push away something that's beautiful. We got a 10 of Wands. Somebody has been, oh my gosh. They have been embedded in this belief that it has to be difficult, that I feel kind of like somebody has been in martyr mode here. Somebody has been looking for other obstacles that they could say, well, I have to do this, I have to do that. I can't have love, I can't have romance. I have to take care of all these other things. Don't you see what a big, huge, heavy thing I have, all these burdens that I have on my shoulders? Somebody needed to bring themselves back to the idea that everything is not on your shoulders. You are here to live your life that was given to you, and not everybody else's problems are not yours to solve. Instead, I don't know, I feel like somebody was using they were like in disbelief that there's a genuine love there for them, but in the meantime, they pushed that away because they felt like they had all these other things that they had to take care of first. And if they didn't, it would have been like, oh no, I failed somewhere. And somebody needed to let go of that feeling of being overwhelmed, that feeling that they had too much on their plate, too many things on their shoulders. Letting go of all of that. It's not my place to like or dislike a storyline. That's my interpretation on that. That's the only interpretation I have on that. And I'm not a big fan of that at all, but that might be someone's lesson in all of this. They pushed away love because if they allowed themselves to be with the person they wanted to be with, to have the love that they wanted to have, then it's almost like it would have been too easy. It's like this person came into this world saying, no, I have all these things that I have to be punished for first. I have all these problems that I have to solve. I can't believe in love because I have all these other burdens that I carry. Those burdens, I have to carry them. And then one by one, get rid of them. And then maybe I can think about love and romance. Moon. That is, the moon is what's hidden, right? I don't know. Maybe this person did have karma. Maybe somebody had karma that they needed to work through. But this is somebody's thoughts have been eroding this. So the secrets that they keep are pretty much unraveling now. Maybe it's just that enough time has passed. I feel like this is a situation where a lot of time has passed. I feel like this is a scenario where two people have denied themselves happiness for way too long because they got married to the pain. They told themselves, true love doesn't exist. Romance is not something that I can have until way later on in life because I have to do all these other things first. And I don't really believe in romance, or I'm going to tell myself I don't believe in it until I get done with all these other things that maybe I've told myself those are all problems that I have to deal with and I have to face. I almost feel like somebody told themselves, I deserve to be somehow unhappy or punished or something like that, or without recognizing that they decided those things. I don't know where a sense of guilt came from, but it's finally eroding. That is the big secret here. The big secret is somebody didn't think that they are allowed to be happy because they have all these other things that they have to deal with first. And so love has to be on the back burner. But that's eroding away. It's almost gone. That facade is wearing off. Someone's about to be set free of that mindset. I want to see why did somebody feel that way? Where did that come from in this story? And please remember, these are only stories, right? So it's just food for thought. I'm not saying this is your story. This is not anybody's story. This is just a story. King of Pentacles. This King of Pentacles has, I mean, there's a lot of, it's funny because King of Pentacles is usually about, finances. It's usually about stability. But if you look at this king is underneath this like a pueblo dwelling or a hacienda, and we see a lot of like the Old West, like New Mexico, but it's all southwestern, and we see buffalo, and we see it's almost like if someone felt like they're not allowed to have happiness, it may be because it's one of two things here. They either felt like they have to first build a foundation, and that foundation is like, it's a huge legacy. Either they had a huge legacy that they felt like they had to carry on, maybe a legacy of a family. It's as if somebody felt like they had all these obligations placed upon their shoulders. Now, maybe they placed it there themselves, or maybe it is they are supposed to be the next in line to lead the family. They are the ones that, they felt like, I don't get to choose for myself what I want because it's been ingrained in me that I have a family lineage that is depending on me. So it could be like a patriarchal system of, like the eldest son has to do such and such, or, whatever this is, right? That's just one example. Now, this could also be somebody who told themselves, well, I have to first, build this foundation for myself, build this life for myself, build this house for myself. And maybe some of the ways in which they built their money or their wealth or their foundation, we've got some evidence here of some dirty dealings. We've got like a checkerboard. It's like there's been checkmate. We've got, I don't know, I see some things here that cracked eggs and things that they're not proud of. Like maybe somebody feels some guilt for the stability that they've been trying to build for themselves. Maybe they did it in a more cutthroat way from time to time. And this is something where they go, I don't deserve to be happy because I feel bad about some of the choices that I made. I mean, that's just another layer of interpretation here. But it seems as if somebody felt like they had to have, like, they had to pay a karmic debt for something, is what I feel like. Or just that they had all the obligations of the family pressure upon them. Maybe it was a crumbling foundation that they've been working to prop back up over and over. And every time they started to have a foundation, something else would fall apart. And so this person has literally been, we see two elements here where somebody is underneath a heavy burden. In this case, though, it is all about stability, but we see a mess all around. We've got melting clocks. It's like the time has run out for different things. We see, like I said, cracked eggs. We see lots of not necessarily good adventures that have happened here, but a lot of things that I think somebody is not super proud of. And we have losses that have occurred along the way. So if somebody has felt like they couldn't have love yet, they weren't allowed to have it, so they told themselves they didn't even believe in it. Why? Because they had all these other thoughts on their mind of, first, I have to achieve this solid, stable version of myself, but look at all the obstacles to having that. And look at all these other demands placed upon me. And some of it is maybe my own sense of like karmic debt that I have to pay, and all kinds of, I don't know, someone was either made to feel beholden to someone else, or they were made to feel like the weight of the world was on their shoulders and they had to achieve certain things before they're allowed to have their own happiness. But that is chipped away. They are about to set themselves free. Somebody is completing something here where it's no longer all on them. So what's the outcome here? What is the outcome here? What is the outcome here? The outcome is, well, it's 5 of Swords. The outcome is, and I feel like these are the lovers, very wounded at this point, very wounded. The masculine has his back to the feminine. The feminine, out of her chest is growing flowers, but her arm is tangled up in some of these bandages around the masculine. And she's kind of like, it's like she's been at his back all along. But he turned his back to her. And now when we look at their heads, she is now defending herself against him. So it's like now, if someone turned their back to the other, now the roles are reversed. And when it comes to conversation, she feels like she has to defend herself because she's been hurt. That's what it looks like. So they've created a whole nother drama to deal with, probably because there was all this denial and all this stonewalling and all of this. I mean, walking away from someone that you really want to be with, leaving them out in the cold, knowing that they're a soulmate, but pushing that away and saying, no, I need to go deal with all this other stuff, when none of that, and keeping that all a secret too. And now trying to come back in, or now realizing the mess that has been made, maybe, is what I see here with that 5 of Swords. I mean, it's understandable that someone would now feel defensive because there's been hurt, but there's still love there. But we have the Empress. The Empress is always representing the new life, the new possibility. And we have all of these totems also. We've got, what I want to say is that there is still something very divine here. And I say that because of the presence of the totems. It's almost as if, despite all this conflict, if someone turns to their divine feminine and treats them as the divine feminine, this could all turn around. And there is help in this from whatever those totems represent. The divine energies around this connection. Got a Knight of Swords also. And it's funny because particularly in this deck, it is talking about rebellion. So Knight of Swords is like, this could take off really quickly. Someone could finally choose to rebel against the things that have been holding this connection back. You see the bird's nest, but all of those eggs are already cracked. So it's like the birds have already flown away and someone is still holding on to this empty nest, basically. It's late in the game, so we got a lot of time to make up for. But, it's funny because somebody is calling on their desire to be rebellious. That's really what the Dada movement was. When we talk about art, it was kind of about rebelling against structure and organization. This began, we had the Victorian era, and the Victorian era was, very prim and very proper. And right as that ended, we go into World War I, and it's devastating and it's chaos and it's, it's debilitating. And so artists, in reaction to that, wanted to kind of rebel against, if people who are in charge and keeping everything nice and tidy can then allow and even, promote a war as devastating as that, it's almost like they wanted to rebel through art against anyone who was, saying, well, this is how we do things, because how we do things led us into chaos anyway. So it was kind of like a form of rebellion, a freedom of whatever the previous confines had been. So that was kind of like the Dada movement. And then from there, we go into like surrealism, like in, I guess after like 1923. So we have these different times in art history where it was really kind of like expanding and free association and, like not sticking with any of the previous confines of things. So it is a spirit of rebellion in the sense that like chaos is all around anyway, but this was a way to take back power in a way. So I don't know if I've explained that very well, but it's an interesting concept that we see on this card. And it's like somebody feels like, oh my gosh, it's not just time that I rebel against all of those things that I kept feeling like I had to do first before I could have love. I need to go ahead and I feel like the divine masculine is saying, I've got to make up for lost time. My feminine is, it now feels defensive toward me because I turned my back for so long. I feel like this is, again, it's a passage of time here. And I feel like someone sees this clearly now. And there is still chaos here. Absolutely, there is chaos because it's late in the game. But somebody suddenly wants to speed things up and make this happen. Somebody wants to be with their person. And I feel like there is some kind of divine like push for someone to choose to do this now. Like the divine is pushing them that way. So I don't know if someone is going to truly suddenly take action, but it sure seems like they are being, a fire is being lit after so long of denying a connection, so long of holding back. We've got a Page of Wands. Oh, I'm sorry. And the Ace of Swords. This is to move things forward. Somebody is now purely going off of the desire to create something, the desire to listen to the higher self. It's like, I feel like somebody's life is like splashes of color. It's very vibrant. We go from that Knight of Swords. I'm going to rush in. I'm going to do this. I don't know exactly how it's going to work just yet. It still is a bunch of chaos in my mind, but I need my Empress. I need my Empress. And that alone, that thought kind of elevates me. It makes it feel like, I feel like somebody is feeling lighthearted for the first time in a really long time. Instead of being oppressed, instead of being held back, held down, you notice how this castle in the sky has actually broken free and everything is like floating upward. It's like, oh my gosh, for the first time in a long time, I can see my future is not, it's not me being underneath all of these obligations. It's more like it feels so good now to feel as if the possibilities that I have are ones that will make me happy, not weight me down. So someone has, what I would say to put this simply is someone has balanced out whatever karmic debts they felt they had. It has been a long time coming. It is after denying themselves love, denying themselves connections, getting up in their heads, turning their back on someone that they loved deeply, possibly causing a lot of hurt to a soulmate, but they have finally settled whatever karmic obligations they felt like they had. They finally feel like they have stability in, who they are, what they want. And there is like I say, it's in the best sense, a sense of rebellion against whatever the mindset was that they were in that prevented them from reaching out to the person that they wanted to be with. But they do have an obstacle here. They certainly have an obstacle in, realizing that their empress is still very loving. It's still very, very giving, but it's like they realize now, oh my gosh, I pushed away and turned my back on an empress. No wonder this is going to be something that I'm really going to have to go all in and not hold back a thing, because all those birds have already hatched and flown away. I've got an empty nest right now. I lost my empress, and my empress is not going to be easy to get my empress back, but I've got to do it, and I've got to do it now. I have to push away any ideas that I'm, oh, this is too hard, or I can't do this. I feel like somebody's getting really revved up in a really positive way to go toward the person that they love, the person that they want to be with. I don't know. It's a beautiful reading in a lot of ways, even though there's certainly some frustration in it, right? Just because it seems like it's taken a long time. So we had Pisces, we had Taurus, Libra, and then again, Libra. Those are the only majors that we had. So, oh, and I'm sorry, Gemini at the very beginning with the lovers. So anyway, I'm going to end this here, you guys. Take good care of yourselves. And like I say, I'll always do strange readings. The stories that I like to tell, I like to find inspiration from all kinds of different things. So take care, you guys. I hope you had fun with this one. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.